Hello, you guys. So this is a huge deal. This happened a lot faster than I thought it would, but it's because I started to de-poof. I started to de-swell pretty much as predicted, but you never actually know until it happens. And then also I wanted the number, so today I shaved off my sideburns. That's also my tip to you guys. If you want a specific number, then shave off your sideburns, okay? Every single time. No, I'm just kidding. But I wanted the number. So let's talk about it. My waist is 32.5. My abdomen, so like where I would put my pants, is 37.5. And I tried on that pair of 38 jeans out of the dryer. They fit perfectly. It was amazing. I still have to wear a belt, obviously, but I typically do because, I don't know, I just always do when it comes to jeans. But that was a wild moment today when I was like, holy crap, those jeans fit really good. Like, that was kind of surreal. And then getting to 225. So is this miraculous? Is this a miracle? Am I, the girly pop? Am I the one? Am I Clara Bow? Am I the exception? Am I the special one? Am I the 5%? All these different things. I think some of my thoughts a little bit are like, when is this regain supposed to happen? Aubrey, I still feel that way. I'm a little bit salty still, but it's not much. The salt mines are kind of over. And I have to talk about why. And I think that there are some physical reasons why. And I think, I have some thoughts going into the vanity weight era. Pretty much now. I would say technically it's probably starting now. I haven't launched it on the channel and stuff just because I might poof up a bit when I go to LA. I'm going to take a break and stuff. So I don't know. I might go up a bit and then come back down real quick. Plus I tend to swallow because of the plane and all that. So I'm just holding out until after LA to announce the new era. But, 225, I'm about 30 pounds from where I'd like to be by the end of the year. So I feel like 30 pounds for me at my height, that's like a solid era, and also to the physical side of it. So what's changing physically? What's changing physically is essentially I do have less energy. So due to the fact that I don't have as many calories on my body as I used to, the fat is just not as plentiful. I'm currently at 25.9% body fat. And it's just not high enough anymore to where I can do a lot of crazy stuff and a lot of fighting and MSP energy and all these things. Like, I just don't have it in me anymore. So what I feel emotionally at this time is this sense of calm coming over me. It's phasing in, but it's a sense of calm and to a certain extent tiredness and an inability to keep pushing so hard all the time. And having to take things a bit slower, having to take my time or, thinking more, but not necessarily in an urgent or anxious way, just thinking in general. And then needing more rest. And I'm starting to see, being at this stage, I can see why a vanity weight era is kind of privileged, which I will have to talk about that more, but it's essentially what I've noticed about it so far is that you are voluntarily sacrificing your energy for this phase because you don't have a huge amount of excess calories, so you don't have the energy to do everything in a deficit. And I never experienced this in the entire journey. The only other time I was very tired was when I was smo, which that's just kind of obvious. You're going to be really tired. But every other phase, so, morbid, brat, small fat, mid-size, MSP, mid-size princess, I had energy. And particularly in mid-size princess, I had a lot of energy during that one. I think because that's where like health meets available calories on the body. And so you just have a lot of energy. And I think a lot of that goes towards like bullshit, and you have to kind of focus it. It's kind of hard. But at this point, I'm not really there anymore. So I can't do it anymore. I can't sustain 20 million things at once like I was able to. And I have to kind of lock in. I have to focus. And I have to rest. And I have to, like I said, not push things so hard, whether that's socially or physically or whatever. It's like I find myself now, I need to walk a little slower sometimes when I'm at the grocery store, or I need to take my time with things more so. And then the overall emotional quality is a sense of reflection. There's a lot of reflection that I'm having on especially my mid-size era, because it's so recent, but also the entire journey in getting to this point. There's a feeling of being a weight loss veteran, you know, as I'm approaching thin, which, I don't know, call it whenever you want, I guess. I'll have to call it by 220 for sure. So at that point, then I'm gonna say I'm thin, dead ass. But I'm basically there at this point. And I think it feels miraculous in a lot of ways. You know, even just in June, I was listening to Diet Pepsi by Addison Rae, and I got triggered hearing her talk about sitting on a guy's lap. And I was like, I couldn't sit on a guy's lap. I weigh 237, and it like pissed me off. I know that's stupid, but gosh, my MSP energy was so bad in June. It was crazy, and it was so petty in June. It was horrible. Gosh, I don't even know what the hell. But luckily, my friend told me, she was like, it gets worse as you get out. So it was a sign it was ending, and it did. It's over. Because now I listen to Diet Pepsi, and I'm like, yeah. You know? So it's different. It's like a different feeling. And I think in some ways, you don't have the energy to care about every little thing anymore. So you start to choose. And I think in this moment, especially like right now, as I'm entering into the vanity weight era, I just feel so accomplished and grateful, and to a certain extent a little bit humbled, which is weird. I didn't really expect that, but I feel humbled because it's been a long road. And I still have some work to do, but it's just a totally different quality. You know, I have a sense of urgency only because of the season. I want to be done with my deficit by mid-December for seasonal purposes. I just don't want to go through a winter again in a deficit. I just don't. So that's the only like time frame or sense of urgency that I currently have. But other than that, I don't really have any. You know, I think from here it's just kind of on the up and up, and I am in a privileged situation where I can rest as much as I need to. I'm working to have a little bit of disposable income so I can buy like diet sodas, for example. I'm probably going to buy some Zevia, for example, and things like that to make the process easier, because, you know, my daily calories, I'm almost sub 2,000, which at my height and age and everything, it's like, oh my gosh, you know, that's a lot. When I think I started around 3,500 in 2022 or something. You know, it's wild. To be at, you know, I'm currently at 2,044 a day, but I do eat 500 more on gym days, and, you know, so there's a little bit of wiggle room. It also helps too, like, I weigh in on Thursday. Thursday's a gym day, so I can eat 500 more, so I don't feel the transition as much when the calories go down. And that's really the only negative as far as like fast loss, you know, de-swelling, water coming off as the season has changed. You know, the solstice is done, things are starting to slow down a bit, or it's starting to become more manageable. Thyroid is stimulated, whatever, you start to de-swell. And so I've started to, and that's good because it shows up on the scale, but it's bad because then I have to go down. So 2044 at this time. And I see it's going to be some lifestyle changes during this time. You know, I'm going to have to definitely work towards eating less. You know, you start to get to the bottom of the journey, it's stricter, you know. And I think certain mindsets, in order to continue, have to shift. Like, I have to not have such a grip on life. I have to just kind of like, you know, just kind of do that. And it's helping, because it takes a lot of energy to do that. So it's funny, because I literally was just telling you guys, like, be so generous with your energy. And I feel like I can't anymore. I feel like that's over. So, and just to be clear, like, I'm very happy. I'm not at all upset about this. I'm very satisfied, and I'm just like, it's been a long road. I feel like it's been forever. But I think too, in some ways, it's the little things, like fitting into that pair of jeans. Like, that was just so lovely. It was just lovely. And I think it's those kind of non-scale things that you see a lot more too, but also scale related too, you know. So I'm looking forward to this era. But I'm totally in a conceptualizing zone, and it's like, I'm gonna have to change my approach. I can tell, because I'm like, so we might be going into a little bit of a peaceful era, which is weird. I don't think that we've ever done that on this channel. I mean, pretty much the whole journey, it's been like fighting tooth and nail. You know, whether I was struggling with super morbid, whether I was tortured when I was morbid, and I was like, oh my God, and I was like sad all the time, and fighting and bratting and small fat and angry all the time when I was mid-sized. It's like, now I'm just left here, and it's just me, and what is left? You know, I don't see myself, like, I've divorced those aspects from my identity. So it's like, I have to get to know just me, and just me outside of weight loss. And it's weird. It's a very weird feeling. It's also just like a huge ending is coming, because this whole journey is going to end. You know, there's obviously new phases next year, but this is the big journey, you know, and it's gonna be done in December. My next era ends in December. I know when it ends. And it's like, what a fucking journey it has been. And I don't know. I think I spent so long not really thinking about this time or phase, because it was such a weapon, or it was such an issue for so many years, and I didn't want it to distract from what I had to do. And now that I'm here, it's like, oh my God, I'm here, you know? And I want to enjoy it. You know, that's why I worked through so many of those issues when I was mid-sized, because I didn't want to feel that way. And I think it worked. Really think it worked, because I don't. Like I said, I can listen to Diet Pepsi, and I can envision myself sitting on his laps sipping Diet Pepsi. For me, it would be Zevia. But, you know, I can see myself doing that, because it's like, it's not, I don't weigh that much anymore, you know? It's a weird feeling. It's really weird. A couple of you guys one of you guys commented when I posted my weight screenshot. It's like, those numbers are yellow now. They're not red. It's like, whoa. And I don't know. It's really fucking weird. I think it's just surreal. And I think my goal right this second is to figure out who I am outside of a struggle, and to figure out this channel outside of a struggle, to figure out how I project myself outside of a struggle, because struggling in this stage, I don't think it's going to help at all. You just don't have excess energy. So all the struggle I have, it has to be used in the gym. And I have to just struggle with the gym, and that's about it. Other than that, I need to kind of lay low, or, allow this cocoon to form. And I think that that's my strategy. Obviously, I'm not going anywhere. Don't get any ideas as far as the channel, but I'm just talking about in my life. Like, I felt a need to push myself out there so much in the past 2 eras, and it really helped me. It did. But I think this time I need to go within more in my personal life, and I need to not force myself to be more extroverted. I need to kind of come within myself and just relax more. And I think I still need to conceptualize and work on that stuff, but I think it's going to be more in quiet contemplation rather than this like, oh my gosh, feeling, because there was a lot of that in the bra era and in the mid-size era. There was a lot of that feeling, and it's over now, and it's like, wow. So I look forward to it. I really do. I think just being able to kind of work on what I want to work on aesthetically now, without the health issues breathing down my neck, without these dopamine issues being as bad. They're slowly improving, but they are getting better, and they're likely to keep getting better, especially when I take a break. When I'm out of the deficit, when I'm in LA, I'll probably have a lot more dopamine when I come back, and it probably won't ever get that low again. And it's time to just flow. It's time to learn how to flow and breathe and just like move smoothly. And I think that will get me through the vanity weight era, because I won't be wasting my energy on fighting all the time. So those are really my thoughts, I guess, at this time. This is the first time that I've hit one of these milestones and I didn't feel like vengeful or angry or anything. I just feel satisfied. I feel at peace. And I feel gratitude, honestly. I just feel grateful. And I look forward to this next phase. I really do. I think it will be interesting. And I am interested from a scientific perspective to see like how people will treat me, or how this or how that or whatever happens next, what's true and what isn't true about being thin. I get to find out, and I'll be reporting to you guys. So far, all I can say is the gateway to thin is a little rough. It's very rough. But once you're there, it becomes not as big of a deal. And once you allow yourself to be there, it's not that big of a deal. And so it's a lot of just feeling normal. It's a lot of being normal, feeling normal. And I think that's good. I think that's what I'm going to embrace. I'm going to let the MSP energy pass away. There's still flavors of it here or there. Like I said, the salt mines are still there a little bit, but it's nothing what it used to be. And I'm going to allow it to change and move forward. So that's where we're at. Those are my thoughts at this time. So I'm going to go ahead and go. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, night, etc. I'll talk to you later. Bye.